The Lexicon Word of the Week. This week's word, docket. The For Legal English podcast is now in session. On today's docket, the Lexicon Word of the Week. In this episode, we spotlight the word docket. This is an ongoing series we have. We focus on a lexicon word, we discuss this word, its meaning, and how it is used by lawyers. Welcome to the For Legal English podcast. This is the show for lawyers, law students, and other professionals from all over the world who want to improve both their legal English and legal knowledge. In this podcast, we discuss different legal topics such as law in the news, law in practice, legal writing, legal movies, and the word of the week. Go to our website, 4 is in the number 4, Legal English, no spaces or dashes, 4legalenglish.com. You can check out our blog articles, available courses, and the show notes for this episode. On the docket today, the Lexicon Word of the Week, docket. Stay tuned to the end to hear about the online quiz, or go to the website to learn more. Docket. So this is a word that I've been saying a few times each episode since the first episode. But what is a docket? Why do I keep referring to a docket? So a docket refers to maybe three major things. The first is the calendar or the schedule of the court or the judge or a case. The second is the caseload, especially for a court or the judge. And the third meaning is a log, basically short entries of what happened in the case. Let's look at some examples of how we could use the word docket. On the docket today, or on today's docket. This would be referring to basically the calendar of cases for today. This could be for the entire courthouse, but it's usually for a judge or maybe a specific courtroom. What cases are going to be heard and at what time? Docket call, sometimes called a calendar call. This is when multiple cases are set at the exact same time. So you have a lot of cases all set for 9 o'clock in the morning, and the judge will kind of hear them all, have a status update on those cases, and set them for another court hearing. When I was a prosecutor, we had docket calls at 9 a.m. So I'd have 90, maybe 100, maybe more than 100 cases all set for the exact same time, 9 a.m. So it would be me as the prosecutor, usually have one public defender, and of course you might have a dozen or 2 or 3 dozen different private attorneys with maybe one client, maybe a few clients. And of course, all of the defendants would have to appear. And so the court would hear all of those cases. The court would hear all those cases, take some pleas, set other cases for a different court date, and of course set some for trial. The court docket or the judge's docket. So this is the calendar of that court or of that judge. Often lawyers or parties want to know how busy is the court docket? Are they going to be able to get a court date soon or a trial date soon, or what's going to happen? We'd also use docket to refer to the type of cases. For example, the criminal docket or the family law docket, or what's going on in the case. They could talk about the trial docket, the case is set for trial, or the motion docket, the case is set for a motion hearing. And of course, the docket number, which is another way to say the case number. When a case is filed in the court, there's a case number assigned to it or a docket number. Each case also has its own docket or list of activity, kind of a log showing what happened in that case. It would be a list of all the pleadings filed by the different parties, the complainant, the defendant, as well as any other parties, a list of the court hearings, and of course anything issued by the court orders. In some systems, you're allowed to see this online. You can see all the activity of the case. You might not be able to pull up the documents themselves, but you can at least see what documents were filed or what type of court hearing was held on that specific day. Some other meanings? We can use docket as a verb. In other words, to place on the docket. For example, I will docket this motion hearing for our next court date, or our motion hearing has been docketed for the 5th of November. A docket can also refer to a brief written summary, kind of like an abstract. If you enjoyed today's episode, please share with a friend or colleague. You can share through Facebook or whatever social media you prefer, or just email or message them a link to this podcast. That would really help me out and start to spread the podcast. Check out the online quiz. Go to our website, 4 is in the number 4, Legal English, no spaces or dashes, .com, 4legalenglish.com. You can check out our blog articles, available courses in the show notes for this episode. What questions do you have about this week's word? Do you understand the word docket now? If you have any questions, please comment on the show notes. It's a great way to practice and improve your legal English skills. Next time on the docket, we'll discuss the movie Under Suspicion. The 4 Legal English podcast is adjourned. Don't miss the next docket call.